37-year-old technology and more than 60 years of style. Why would anyone buy an Iron 883? The Iron 883 is one of those bikes that you either love it or hate it. If you're not a Harley guy, you are not gonna love it. If you are a Harley guy, you're usually ripping on this that it's too small, or that doesn't have enough power, or it's a girl's bike. I've been riding for a while now, and I will continue to ride a Sporty in 2023 because it's fun. That is the theme of this video. Riding a Sportster is fun. Riding a Sporty makes me feel like a little kid again.
So one thing that I love about the Sporty is its versatility. Now, when you say versatility when talking about the Sporty, you often think, or have heard, it's modability. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later, but we're going to focus on its versatility in riding environments right now. So now, clearly, we're in an urban environment. I'm in Verona, and you might know that I've moved to Verona from Madison. But this bike is really great, going from stoplight to stoplight. That low-end torque really gets it moving right away. And it's just really versatile, weaving in and out of traffic here, getting to where you want to go to work or to get groceries at Miller & Sons here. It's just really versatile. Like, yes, you could get yourself a huge bagger and ride in these urban environments easily. But is it the best option? Probably not. Something a little bit lighter, a little bit more maneuverable than a big bagger might be better. But let's take this to better environments where I feel the Sporty really shines. Let's get into some twisties. That laugh that I just gave, that's because I'm on a Sporty again, and we'll talk more about why that laugh is so meaningful a little bit later in this video. So what makes this bike great in the twisties, there are a lot of them. Riding in these twisties, this bike, as far as cruisers go, is a dream. Sure, it's not a sport bike, and you're not going to be able to dive into those corners like you would with a sport bike, but compared to other cruisers, this bike is a dream in the twisties. It's got that 19-inch skinny front wheel, and it just lets you dive into the corners. You really feel that movement immediately. And despite having a slow car in front of us, we're still having a lot of fun. This is where this bike, I believe, really shines. In a rural setting on a twisty road. And this is where I really enjoy riding the most. This is my style. This is where I love to ride. Where I'm bouncing between third, fourth, and fifth gear and just really rolling on the throttle. Just shifting between gears quite a bit. This 19-inch front wheel just really dips into these corners here. Let's see which way he's going, and we'll go the opposite direction. Because other than twisty roads, we have no destination in mind. Well, this gives us an opportunity now to get on the highway. So when I did my Route 66 trip on my 2017 Iron that looked exactly like this one, I was afraid of highway travel. Like, I hadn't done a whole bunch of it. I'd only been riding it was my second riding season, and I was afraid of highway travel. I probably only had done, I'd say, 500 miles of highway travel when I first started out on that trip in September of 2018. But the thing is, like, a lot of guys, they protest and say this bike is not a great highway bike. Now, the 883 doesn't have the power of a touring bike or a softail model, or hell, even a 1200. But where those bikes shine over this 883 on the highway is when you're trying to pass traffic. Now, I've spent a great deal of time passing semi-trucks and RVs and slower cars on interstates with cars going 80 plus miles an hour, and I'm traveling right along with them. This bike can do it, but can it do it as good as those other bikes I mentioned? Hell no. If you want a bike that's a champ at overtaking cars, look elsewhere. But if you just want to cruise down the highway in fifth gear at 3,600 RPMs at 70 miles an hour, this bike is great for that. My biggest complaint about riding on the highway like this at these speeds is the inadequate shocks that this bike has. Harley will never post the travel of these shocks, but I'd be surprised if it's more than 1 3/4 inches, at most 2 inches. And of course you're going to adjust the preload to how much you weigh and how much gear you have on your bike, but even still, riding at these speeds, going over a construction bump is not a good time. I've done a lot of mods to this bike, and once we stop I'll talk more about that. But I would suggest one of the mods that you undertake, if your goal is to ride with comfort, is to swap out those rear shocks. But as you can see, I'm fifth gear, 70 miles an hour, flowing nicely along with traffic here. And the bugs are hitting my windshield just the same as it would if I'm on a larger bike. So this bike can definitely do it. But on a smooth road like this, brand new construction, this bike is riding smooth, especially with these Bridgestone Batacruise H50s that I have on here. Just perfect for this type of travel.
Okay, so the Sportster is versatile. It can even do highway miles. Unthinkable, right? Sure, the highway's not the best riding environment for the Sporty, but it's no fish out of water on the highway, and it's actually a load of fun to blast down the highway on a Sporty. But few think that it can do long distance. Let's dive into that.
All right, now let's talk about long distance travel. Many of you may have subscribed to this channel, A, because of the Sportster, but B, I've taken the Sportster long distance. And here's where the comments come in. You can't ride a Sporty long distance, it's too small. But long distance, if you outfit the Sporty right, you can do it, and the Sporty can do it. Now I swapped out the handlebars for something a little bit more comfortable. Something that positions me in more of an upright position. Changed the seat. Of course, the Saddlemen step up. The Saddlemen guys are great. You put a sissy bar on the bike and a nice large bag with mollies on it, so you can strap a whole bunch of stuff to it. Tent, your sleeping bag, your whatnots, your unmentionables. You can go long distance on this bike, and I've proven that that's possible. In fact, I'm going to be taking this on a moto camping trip at the end of this week. It's one of my favorite places in the state, up in northern Wisconsin. And take my motorcycle up north. I wish GoPros were better at capturing beautiful scenes, because what I have in front of me right now, it's beautiful. Driftless region, just beautiful. There's one last thing I need to mention about the Sportster, and it's probably the most enjoyable one, and that is the ability to modify a bike like this. Even if you are a beginner wrencher, it is the perfect platform because it is a simple platform to wrench on. But even if you are experienced at turning wrenches, you've been doing it for years, it's still a great platform because the possibilities are endless. You can do everything from simple bolt-ons to engine performance modifications, even chopper kits. The possibilities are endless. If you can dream it up, you can do it on a Sportster. after everything I've talked about, pros and cons, would you buy a Sporty? After Harley stopped making them, with tons of people selling them on the used market, why would you do it? Because of its versatility in the city, its versatility on the highway, despite what most think, and especially its versatility on roads like this. Oh, I love this, man. Also, because of its modability. I already talked about all the mods that I've done to this. And while this is mostly stock except for the seat, the sissy bar, and the handlebars, like, you could go crazy with it. Just changing all the features of this bike to fit your personality. This is the Wisconsin that I know. Cruising along a twisty road, swapping between third, fourth, and fifth gears, pulling on the throttle, doing some trail braking where it's necessary, just having a blast. And this is why I own a Sportster, because motorcycling should be fun. Ride safe out there, keep your wheels rolling the right direction. I'll see you in the next one.